Dr. Timothy Antoine receives nod of approval for another term as ECCB Governor. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Friday, January 29th, 2021, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has approved the reappointment of Timothy N.G. Antoine as Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The approval came following the submission of a report by the ECCB subcommittee, which comprises ministers of government and leaders of member countries. Governor Dr. Antoine's new 5-year term begins on Monday, February 1st. Finance Minister Honorable Gregory Bowen told GIS there was unanimous support towards Governor Antoine's reappointment.
Let me extend the very best wishes and congratulations to our countryman, Timothy Antoine, Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. As Grenada's governor to the bank, I was part of a subcommittee that comprised the chairman, Prime Minister Harris from St. Kitts Nevis. We also had Prime Minister Skerritt of Dominica, Premier Bradshaw of Anguilla, and myself. At a previous council meeting, there was unanimous support for Timothy Antoine, the governor, for another 5-year term. What the subcommittee did was to look at the terms of his employment. And on Friday 22nd, we reported that we had reached a more or less agreement with him and presented the terms to the council in full flow. And everyone agreed. And so our brother Timothy Antoine is there from February 1st, I believe, for another 5-year term.
In conveying the Monetary Council's decision, Chairman and St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, remarked, and I quote, "The Council commends the Governor for his stewardship over the past 5 years, and especially over the past year. Governor Antoine has led the bank with vision, empathy, and with a keen eye for innovations that have helped to lift the people of our region." Unquote. OECS Director General Dr. Didacus Jules applauded Dr. Antoine's reappointment, pointing to the many innovations that he has spearheaded at the ECCB. He said, and I quote, "Governor Antoine's tenure has been characterized by a highly collaborative approach to the shaping of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU. He has been a passionate champion of financial inclusion, and under his watch, the ECCB is the first central bank in the world to have issued a digital version of its currency." Unquote. Antoine thanked the Monetary Council for its support and confidence in his ability to lead the bank. Minister Bowen said there is full confidence that the ECCB is in good hands.
We all came to the same conclusion that he was innovative, that he took actions, and that the bank was in extremely good hands. So I want to repeat our compliments to him and to say that we are sure that he will continue the good works and that the bank will go from strength to strength.
Government anticipates the completion and handing over of 3 of the China Grenada low-income housing units at the end of February. The low-income housing project, Phase 2, commenced in January 2018 with a total of 647 houses located in 5 sites across the country. The first phase of the project, with 353 houses, was handed over in 2014. Housing and Community Development Minister Honorable Delma Thomas said the units will be handed over once they have successfully passed the inspection process, which gives the green light for occupancy.
By the end of February, we'll have 3 completed sites. We have St. Patrick, we had the ceremony there already. We'll have Carrico, we'll have St. Max. So these 3 will be all completed, 100% completed by the end of February, because although they had the handing over for the St. Patrick site, they still had a small aspect of painting to do. But because the ambassador wanted to do that presentation before he left, so we did it a little earlier before the ready 100% completion. By the end of February, you'll have these 3 sites: Carrico, St. Mark, St. Patrick. At the end of April, St. David's site will be completed, and at the end of July, Busheju will be completed.
A committee which comprises Ministry and Housing Authority officials is currently sorting through applications to ensure applicants meet the criteria to obtain one of the units.
We are now preparing, and we have hundreds or even thousands of applications at the Housing Authority of Grenada, the ones that are collecting the applications, and the committee is with the Housing Authority in terms of the selection process and not the ministry. And so they are already started sorting and doing investigation to make sure you already meet the criteria for the persons who applied. This unit is very important for families, and it's not only low-income families, but middle-income families or teachers or nurses or police officers who are working within the range of $3,000 will be able to access that housing scheme. And so we look forward to providing these houses in unit to those very needy families who are waiting patiently for that new project to be handed over to government so that they can be secured themselves and their families.
Continuing the news, the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development, Religious Affairs and Information wishes to remind the general public that there is a process to be followed by public officers who have grievances that they wish to have resolved. The statement is in response to a local news report aired on Thursday, January 28th, in which it was alleged that a teacher was banned from teaching a particular subject. The Ministry of Education says it has no knowledge of this allegation and is not at liberty to discuss administrative details of public officers in the public domain. Employees of the public service are reminded that their concerns and grievances must be properly channeled to help facilitate a speedy resolution. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
Calypso fans, the 9 finalists to challenge the reigning independence Calypso monarch Sean Nas, the Sour Serpent, on Friday, February 5th at the National Stadium have been selected. Admission is free from the comfort of your homes. Will Sour Serpent hold on to the reign, or will the crown change heads as Sheldon Douglas, Anthony Darius, Croqueta, Jermaine Simon, Teddy Christopher, Philanda Jeffrey, Alicia Alexis, Edison Francis, and Anthony Etienne all vie for the coveted crown. Time alone will tell, so join the National Celebrations Committee in what promises to be an evening of great calypsos. Carried live on GIS Channel 22, the National Celebrations Committee, and GIS Facebook pages and YouTube channels. Remember the date, Friday, February 5th, 6 p.m. The virtual staging of the 2021 Independence Calypso Monarch, building together a safer, more resilient nation in these challenging times.
Welcome back. The National Celebrations Committee is assuring that while Grenada's 47th Independence Anniversary celebrations will be held virtually, the essence of the activities will remain. 3 of the major activities for the celebrations are the Calypso competition on February 5th from 6 p.m., the Cultural Extravaganza on February 6th, also beginning at 6 p.m., and the Independence Military Parade on February 7th from 10 a.m. The events will be broadcast live on the GIS Channel 22. Public Relations Officer of the National Celebrations Committee, Sheria Noel, spoke to the events leading up to February 7th.
We have opened it up for everyone, whichever denomination that you so choose, you go and you give praise, you give thanks, to the Most High for allowing us yet another year to celebrate our anniversary. Now, we give 2 weekends, the 30th and the 31st, and also the 5th and the 6th. So whichever area you are, whichever denomination, you use those weekends and you go out and be a part of that service. Now, some people have been asking where would the Prime Minister go, where would the ministers go. They will go within their respective constituency in whichever denomination that they so choose. So as I said before, that is going to happen on the 5th and the 6th and also on the 30th and the 31st.
One finalist has withdrawn from the Calypso Monarch competition scheduled to take place on February 5th. Updates were given on the adjustments to the competition.
Since releasing those names, one of the 9 finalists has withdrawn from the competition, and that person is Zidel Jeffrey. So now the standby Jermaine Simon will be the 9th person, and they will come up against our Serpent for the crown. Initially as well, we would have said that competition will begin at 8 p.m. However, due to protocols and direction from the Ministry of Health and the curfew that is in effect, the Calypso competition will begin at 6 p.m. It will be carried live via GIS Channel 22 and also on the Facebook pages of the National Celebrations Committee, the GIS, and other social media platforms who so desire to carry the Calypso competition.
The Prime Minister's luncheon will take a constituency approach on February 14th, 2021. Finally, in the news, officers within the Division of Youth were brought up to speed on the use of the blended learning approach to include in their interactions with young people. The session was facilitated by ICT officer in the Ministry of Education, Jervis Dabrio. We get more in this June Paul report.
The session held at the Grenada Youth Center was facilitated by ICT officer within the Ministry of Education, Jervis Dabrio. Dabrio alluded to the fact that there are several limitations to virtual engagements, such as the use of Zoom platform in hosting youthful discussions.
There are certain discussions you will be able to have virtually, but the role play, the making it real, you're not going to get that there. All right? Anger management. You talk about it. But there is something about saying role play and one slap one, and now you realize that the block actually came to the class.
Looking back at 2020 and the many unforeseen challenges faced by COVID-19, Assistant Youth Officers Sean Thomas and Jason Moore shed some light on their experience and the effectiveness of the use of technology in engaging the young people.
It was excellent because, as I say, as a team, we sit down, we strategize how we're going to get our work done, and we did it as we planned.
Using the Zoom methods, it was good. Many of the young people, as I said, they didn't have the means to do it, but through help, maybe through community and sponsors, we were able to get them the devices that they needed to go through the Zoom meetings, and it was very effective.
Assistant Youth Officer Shade George says during the initial stages of COVID-19, engaging the youth was very challenging, but yet the lessons learned are rewarding.
It was a bit challenging, and then having to deal with the young people as well. They have little issues, they have problems, we have to come out, be there to hear the cries of some of them, and then still having to give them advice, knowing in ourselves that we also have our own problems dealing with.
Speaking of plans for 2021, Youth Officer Janelle Adams says in keeping with the COVID-19 protocols, several adjustments will be made towards effectively executing the Division of Youth Development projects and programs. Adams added, however, that social engagement of the youth is needed at this time, but adhering to the rules is important.
We're trying to adjust plans to adapt with the COVID-19 protocols, but we have other activities where other programs where we can meet the young people, even stuff like having youth quiz or youth competition, like a marathon race, like let's say if we don't have sports this year, so we decided to do a marathon race with St. Andrews, St. Patrick's and St. David's, get a few young people. So at least we helping them, release some of the tensions, right? So we decided to raise that awareness because we know how it feels to be just locked down.
Passionate about youth work, the team of community youth officers are ready and prepared to perform their duties in the best interest of the nation's youth. Reporting for the Division of Youth Development, I am June Paul.
Thank you, June. That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, January 29th, recapping the top story. Dr. Timothy Antwine receives nod of approval for another term as ECCB Governor. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.